Athletics from Tiebreakers will take over with Blake Carroll on 94.3 The Game. Now, we will continue on radio up until that time, and we'll continue for the full hour on YouTube, Facebook, and X. So if you want us, our reaction, that'll continue on our social channels. It'll also be up the full show in podcast form later today as well. So just wanted to give that heads up as we start the show. We'll remind it as well when we come back from our first break. Apparently we have no audio.
I think it's been fixed by now. They're just behind us.
Okay. So we're getting some comments. There was no audio, but I think we are good now. So nobody heard what I – did they hear what I said is the real question.
Yeah, I got it on just in time for the – but the people on radio definitely were hearing what you said. The radio was fine, and that's what mattered because they're the ones that need to know that we're going off air at noon or at 12:30. Gotcha.
Yeah, so people saying in the chat they can hear now. What I was just saying is Inside Pirate Athletics will take over 12:30 on 94.3 The Game. And right now we'll continue for the full hour on stream. We'll be on the radio till 12:30. So there you go. All right. Pirates win at Temple 45-14. I got to quit reading this comment section or it's going to make me lose focus for now. But, yeah, drop your comments, concerns over the next hour. Pirates win it big. Man, so many good takeaways from Philly. And ECU just imposed their will. Now, I'm not going to lie. I was a little nervous when ECU fumbled the football up 14-0. I'm like, I've seen this before. ECU has the potential to dominate this game. They're giving Temple life. All of a sudden, it's 14-14. I'm concerned this is going to be a dogfight. I was settling in for that. Pirates then go on a lengthy 12-play touchdown drive capped with 11 straight runs, retake the lead, and really dominate from there. Scored 31 unanswered. So Pirates win it 45-14. Philip Pilgrim behind the glass here at 94.3 The Game. I think we all expected this to be a pretty competitive game. I mean, I said it was a good thing ECU had a bye and that Temple was playing well because they weren't going to take the Owls lightly, but I don't know if I would have ever thought ECU would win by 31.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those things that, like I said, I thought it was going to be a shootout. Obviously, that was my prediction coming in. But even if you said ECU was going to handle the game, play 4 complete quarters, I would have thought, hey, maybe they'd find a way to win it by 17. But that was just an absolute dominating performance by a team that I think on paper, yes, might not be quite as good as East Carolina, but I don't think there's a huge talent discrepancy in the two teams. But there was a huge performance discrepancy on Saturday afternoon. And, we were talking about it, Blake, when in his post or in his press conference earlier today, that East Carolina won first down on both sides of the football. Temple averaged just 2 yards a play on first down. East Carolina averaged 9. And that number was above 10 until that final drive when they were going out there just handing the ball off, getting 3-4 yards, running the clock out in a 4-minute offense. So theoretically averaged 10 yards a play on first down. This shows that not only did East Carolina play good from the opening kickoff, they played good at the beginning of each drive. And every time a first down was picked up, they didn't let their foot off the gas, as well as, like we said, winning the point of attack defensively. And that's just what dominating football teams do. I'm not saying that we're a dominating football team yet. We sure as hell played like one on Saturday.
Is it fair to say we saw the ceiling, or at least very close to it, of this team on Saturday? I mean, I think outside of the sequence of the fumble and really that 2-drive Temple sequence, I think that's the best this team can look. I mean, you beat the crap out of a 5-win football team on the road. I mean, it's in some ways a neutral game, but still, let's be real. You still went on the road and did it. I don't know. I don't know if the team can play much better outside of those really 2 sequences.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think maybe the pass game could play a little better just solely because the run game was so dominant. The pass game did not have to do anything else. But defensively, yes, I think that's the ceiling. Offensively, running the ball, the ceiling. And we saw, I think, them reach their ceiling sporadically in the pass game. We saw some really good passes, and we saw some NFL-caliber throws from Caden Hauser and some tough windows. But I think that can be done more throughout a game. But, again, when you run for how many ever hell yards it was, 300 and some odd yards, there's not a lot of strain on the pass game. Caden just kind of got to sit back and take what they gave him.
So we do have a little bit of breaking news. We got a kick time for Memphis.
I get to guess.
Let's hear it.
I'm going to go ESPNU 4 o'clock.
You saw this.
No, I didn't.
You're spot on.
Dude, that's what I said to you this morning.
You did.
We were walking to the basketball press conference this morning. I said that.
4 p.m. on ESPNU for Memphis ECU inside Dowdy Ficklen Stadium on November 15th. And first off, great kick time for the fans. Midday. And, night game. I was worried about an ESPN2 night game because, Memphis, if they win this weekend, they will be ranked coming to Greenville. They played Tulane on Friday night. So I was concerned that we might get a cold mid-November game, but I'm happy with 4 p.m. I hope that ECU takes care of business, and I hope that Memphis takes care of Tulane because that will set up a big one. But back-to-back good home kickoff times to conclude the home schedule, Philip. So I think this is a best-case scenario, a couple of weeks for kick times.
Yeah, it gives the fans plenty of time to tailgate. Like you said, the sun will set in the second half, but it won't be frigid yet, hopefully. But when the game starts, the sun will be out, and it should be good weather for us out there at Pirate Game Day Countdown out there outside Town Bank Tower. So excited for that too.
So 4 p.m. kickoff for Memphis ECU in what could be a pivotal conference game on November 15th, and it'll be Senior Day super early for the Pirates as that'll be their home finale. They finished on the road, of course, at UTSA and at FAU. So we'll preview that game more next week. Just wanted to get that out there. Breaking news there. All right. Pirates, again, throttle Temple 45-14. We were talking about going into the game. This is a game you got to win if you want to be like a legitimate potential conference contender. And I think I wrote in my post game, it's a statement win of sorts. It's not like a statement win that's going to be heard around the country. Like, nobody in the Midwest is like, oh, man, East Carolina beat Temple on the road. Like, what a statement. I think this is more like within the conference for people who follow the league. They're like, yeah, Temple, a little scary team here. A little upstart Temple. Casey Keeler doing his thing. Watch out for the Owls. They're a dark horse. This could be an interesting game. And the fact that ECU just goes there and, throttles them, leaves zero doubt. Looks like the better team across the board. I think this is your statement within the conference that, all right, it might be time to take ECU a little seriously if you're, a USF, a Memphis, North Texas. Teams at the top of the league as far as a contender in this conference.
Yeah, I think so. Because just like you said, Temple had taken care of teams that they were supposed to take care of.
Should have beat Navy.
Should have beat Navy, that would have been Navy's only loss at the time. Obviously, Navy did finally get beat this week by North Texas. But people were starting to respect Temple as at least one of those teams that, again, beats teams they're supposed to. And, yeah, maybe they don't beat the teams they're not supposed to, but the teams that beat them are good football teams. Well, you didn't only go out there and beat them. You did the same thing to them that Oklahoma did to them. And you did it in their building. Again, like you said, maybe more of a neutral site field, but still, you had to fly up. You didn't sleep in your own beds, So, I think this is one of those things where there are now, I got to count them, 6 or 7 teams?
6 teams with 1 loss.
Yeah, they'd have to legit be respected in this league. And are they all equal? No. But I don't think 1 to 6 is a huge difference. Which 1 probably being South Florida, 6 probably being Navy.
I agree with that. I think I would put USF and a healthy Memphis above the rest right now.
Yeah.
And now ECU obviously can have something to say about that. Honestly, I'm skeptical at times of the metrics of these power rating systems. The Football Power Index run by Bill Connolly, which I think is the most respected, analytics-based ranking system. They have USF at 33, Memphis at 41 or 42, ECU at 49. ECU just ahead of North Texas, Tulane. Well, all those teams are well ahead of Navy. So, not everything is numbers based, but I feel like they measure every play, they measure your opponent. All that goes into consideration. I think it has it right as of today. Memphis lost to UAB, but that happened because Brennan Lewis left the game with an injury. If that doesn't happen, they're unbeaten right now. So, I think that's how I would look at it. And I hate that we'll get more into the conference title race later this year. I hate that North Texas kind of has a pretty easy schedule going forward, but they've had some good wins to this point. So we'll get more into that. But ECU will obviously have a chance to make its statement there. But Before we dive into that, we'll recap a little bit more of this game. Obviously, with it being Reaction Monday, look at the stat sheet. 614 yards of offense. This is the first time ECU's cracked 600 since Tulane in 2021. 358 on the ground, most rushing yards since 365 against Gardner-Webb in 2019. ECU, again, being a tempo team, actually won the time of possession battle. They ran like 25 more plays than Temple, 31 minutes, 27 seconds to Temple's 28 minutes. And I was concerned going into the game. We talked a lot about the offense. I was concerned going into the game about ECU's defense. We had seen some cracks in the foundation with the secondary or with the pass coverage in general. I don't want to say just secondary. Like the linebackers were kind of getting exposed a little bit in coverage too. And, man, KC Keeler said going into the game, I don't know if I want to have 16 days off if I'm ECU because you come out rusty, out of rhythm. After the game, he was like, ECU used those 16 days clearly to their advantage. So, he kind of backtracked there. But Evan Simon, 11 of 20, 80 yards, 1 pick. He could have had 4 picks, Phillip. He looked rattled. And he entered the game with 21 touchdowns and no picks. Like, ECU made him look worse than last year's Evan Simon. So, kudos to the coaches and players, man. They had a great plan and executed it brilliantly.
Yeah, I think a lot of it had to do, too, is, they're such a good first down team. They haven't really had to play behind the sticks this year. So he's kind of been able to play with reckless abandon, a lot of 2nd and 4s, 2nd and 5s, where he's been able to go after the home run play or just chuck it in the 4th row kind of thing. And he's been able to hit the home run play effectively. But then when he was facing a lot of 2nd and 8s, 2nd and 9s, and having to try and guarantee himself 5, 6, 7 yards, he just looked out of sequence. His footwork wasn't as good as it normally is. He seemed a little rushed in his progressions. Yeah, East Carolina was getting decent pressure back there, but it was nothing, extravagant. It wasn't what Pittsburgh did to Indianapolis' offensive line yesterday by any means. Yeah, it was really weird. But like you said, it's a credit to the players. It's a credit to the coaching staff for dialing up some good things. And yeah, man, if you're gonna prove you don't have cracks in your defense, this is the quarterback to do it against. And yeah, like you said, it could have easily had 4 interceptions. You and I walked up at practice. You and Coach Harrell were kind of talking the amount of picks that they could have had. He said maybe the DBs need to start doing some receiver drills. So
get them on the tennis balls.
Get them on the tennis ball. Hey, man, look, the tennis balls work, man. Hockey goalies use the tennis balls. The wide receivers use the tennis balls. I'm all for it.
I love Teagan Wilk, but next time I see him, I got to give him some crap about missing his picks, which I know he's kicked himself as well. All right, we got to stay on schedule because we got this, again, the tiebreaker show coming up at 12:30. So let's go ahead and get a break in. We'll come back. I'll talk a little bit more about the defense, so some individual performances that stood out there. We'll also dive into the offense. Keep your comments coming as well, your thoughts, analysis. We'll get into those as the show goes on. This is Hoist the Colors on a Reaction Monday.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout eastern North Carolina. Get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arg!
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Allen, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
The Pirates play here.
Time to play the game!
This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back in. Hoist the Colors on a Reaction Monday. Again, we're live right now on 94.3 The Game. We'll go here another 10 minutes or so. We'll get a break in on radio, and we'll flip it to Inside Pirate Athletics from Tiebreakers. Hoist the Colors will continue on our live stream, YouTube, 94.3 The Game page, Facebook, as well as our Hoist the Colors Twitter account. So follow there if you want to roll with us or catch the second half on podcast later if you're tuned in to 94.3 and want to listen to Inside Pirate Athletics with Blake Carroll and a couple Pirate players, Patrick Johnson at Tiebreakers. All right, again, we're recapping ECU's 45-14 win over Temple. Pirates dominance in the 5th win of the year. ECU did a tremendous job on one of the main targets for Temple. We talked about going in. Peter Clark, the tight end, he had 2 targets, 1 catch for 5 yards. I thought they did a great job when Simon took the underneath throw of rallying to the football, either breaking up passes, making tackles quickly. The tackling, I thought, was almost elite. I want to say, let me pull up the PFF numbers here. It was their highest graded tackling performance of the year for East Carolina on the season with an elite grade of 91. So, yeah, they only had them with a few missed tackles on the game. Overall, Pirates had 8 missed tackles for the entire game. Excuse me, that's Temple. The ECU had just 1 missed tackle. 1 missed tackle, Phillip, in a football game. I mean, that's over 56 plays, 56 snaps. That's pretty good. I don't think you can do much better. I mean, you can, I guess, not miss any tackles. But
yeah, I mean, that's like saying a pitcher threw a perfect game, but he threw a couple balls, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to throw a ball every now and again. You're going to miss a tackle.
53 tackle attempts, 1 missed tackle. I'll take that. Every single week. I'm sure Blake Harrell and Josh Aldridge will as well, but I don't know how sustainable that is, but that goes to also ECU's physicality. Just got them on the ground, dominated the point of attack throughout the day. So did a tremendous job there. Also really took away Holloway, their best receiver. JoJo Bermudez, their slot guy. He had 1 catch for 34 yards. Could have had a big play early in the game. Luckily, there was some pressure there. They couldn't quite connect. But ECU just did a phenomenal job defensively across the board. And offensively, we talked about it. I don't even know if we understand how well Caton's playing right now. 19 of 24, 256 yards, 2 touchdowns. The pick, I don't put on him at all. Somebody said, were you watching the broadcast, Philip? Because we were on the opposite end zone in the press box. On Anthony Smith, the ball that was, deflected off him and was intercepted. Somebody said a a Temple DB basically grabbed his arm or arms, and he couldn't get his hands up to catch the ball. Did you see that at all in the broadcast?
Yeah, so the way I kind of took it, and it was one of those things where I kind of saw the replay. I was like, I had already heard through my headphones that the pick had happened. But the way I took it, it looked like his left arm kind of grabbed Smith. His right arm was clean, and it got in there. And I think the ball actually hit the backside of his lower right arm, and it kind of popped up in the air. But again, to people's point, like he couldn't work back through the guy's arm because his left arm was being hooked by the defensive back's left arm. So could it have been PI by the textbook? Yes, but it was one of those things where you're an official. If you're not in perfect position, you just see the arm get up there and you see it kind of bounce off his arm and go up in the air. Excuse me. And, yeah, it was just kind of one of those. I think it was more crap luck than anything. I mean, the kid, technically, yeah, it was PI, but he really just made a good play.
Caden, obviously, with a tremendous stat line, and you dive deeper into it, 19 of 24, 256 yards. I mean, that should have probably been a catch. It was a good throw, at least. And then he also had a play that was batted down. So on, like, true passing attempts, he was 21 of 23, I would say, like, on target. Or I guess 20 of 23 if you take away the batted down pass. So I just – and some of these throws, look, I mean, the offense helps out the quarterback. And when you're running the football, there's wide open passing lanes at times. But I don't know if we're just not giving Caden enough credit. Like, I don't want to just undersell what he's doing because and the other thing about it is, too, he's having to make the reads on all these RPO plays. I just think his understanding right now of what the defense is throwing at him, specifically since the BYU game, has been pretty top tier. I mean, Tulane, that was kind of the first half was a mess by everybody offensively. I think he's playing at an elite level right now in conference play. I don't know how you can really say otherwise.
Yeah, the thing is with football, man, it happens. The only way to describe a football play to somebody who's never played is a 22-car pileup. And you need to tell me exactly what happened to every single car. And the guys who can play quarterbacks are the only guys who have a brain fast enough to process what all 22 people did in a 22-car pileup. And it's happening very slow in Caden Hauser's head right now. He is seeing exactly what each person is doing, and that's why he's keeping the ball out of harm's way. That was one of those where he made the throw. He thought he trusted his guy in a one-on-one. It didn't happen. It didn't work out. But to your point, I mean, how many times has he just missed a read and running back's been popped in the backfield on an RPO?
I can't remember. Lately.
Yeah. How many times has he pulled the ball and then a linebacker jumped up and knocked it down and should have had a pick? Not many. So right now, the game is just happening so slow for him, and that's really all you can say for it. And he's continuing to make the right decision and not try and force things that aren't there.
So the last three games, according to Pro Football Focus, which again, we can get into a whole debate on how accurate PFF is on certain things, but turnover-worthy plays are something that are pretty cut and dry. Like if it has a chance, if you put the ball in harm's way, if you fumble a snap, you throw a ball that should have been picked or is picked, that is a turnover-worthy play. But the thing I like about PFF, they didn't charge him with a turnover-worthy play against Temple because the ball should have been caught. And so over the last three games, he has 0 turnover-worthy plays. He had 5 against BYU and 2 against Army. So that kind of goes back to the notion that he is playing extremely clean football right now.
And he had none the first 3 games.
Yep, correct. So really just that stretch BYU. The BYU game is what is really the only, I would say, bad game he's had. And we talked about that with JDB last week. He's been great otherwise. I'm sure he would love to go back and do that 2-play sequence right before the half where I think he was just trying to do too much. All right, remind me, Phil, do we need to get out right at 27 or 27-50?
27 on the dot.
27 on the dot, okay. We're going to throw it to Inside Part of the Athletics here in about a minute and a half. A couple other standout performers from ECU's offense. Everybody on the ground, just about. London Montgomery, good to see him get into the box on his return to his home state. Physical touchdown run, 14 carries, 84 yards. Finished that thing with a shoulder to a defender in the end zone, got in the corner of the end zone. Good to see TJ Engelman bounce back. 8 carries, 77 yards after the early fumble. Marlon Gunn, 10 carries, 64 yards. He had like 6 or 7 of those consecutively on that 12-play, 11-run drive. I think he had 8 touches in a row because that series started with a pass to Marlon Gunn. Anthony Smith obviously scored on the end of round from 45 yards out. We'll get into the Roseboro play a little bit later. Mike Wright, just the 1 carry, but he finished that drive and continues to do just amazing things. Mike Wright does. So, and then with the receiving game, we talked about as well, Yannick Smith. It was going to come. We discussed that with JDB, that 1 week may be an Anthony Smith game, the next may be a Yannick game. A lot of it depends on the matchups, what they're giving you. And one of their DBs went out with an injury. Next play, Pirates attack him and get that career-long 59-yard catch-and-run touchdown. So just a lot of great things offensively for the Pirates. All right, we're going to get a break in. Again, Inside Pirate Athletics on your way on 94.3 The Game. We'll be continuing to stream on our social platforms, so follow us there or enjoy Inside Pirate Athletics. We're back after this.
Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown. At National Finance, we're all about hometown support, just like ECU football. National Finance helps us win on and off the field. They've got your back when you need it most. Fast, easy personal loans for life's big plays. And just like us, they're committed to Eastern North Carolina. National Finance, proud supporters of ECU athletics. Visit nfcmoney.com for loans as fast as today.
We're live with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Now, back to Hoist the Colors.
Welcome back in to Hoist the Colors on a Monday. This is kind of weird. So it feels like we're still on radio, but we're not. Inside Pirate Athletics is taking over. So we're just live streaming, which technically means we don't need to take any more commercial breaks.
We can do whatever we want. We can say whatever we want now.
I mean,
within reason.
According to YouTube alone, we have 70 people watching.
Yeah.
And that's not counting our Twitter or Facebook audience. So Here's the deal. We're just going to go commercial free at least until 1 o'clock. And if you guys have questions after that, we may go a tick over, but we'll just roll for the next 30 minutes. So let's have some fun. Obviously, if you want to listen to Inside Powered Athletics, turn on 94.3 The Game and check out the rest of this show later on podcast form, or you can do the opposite because that'll be podcasted on IBX Media, the app as well. So,
and it will re-air at 6 o'clock.
There you go.
For 94.3 audience and all the way down the affiliates lines. They're replay at 6, mostly for the affiliates, but yeah.
So, plenty of options, plenty of content. Pirates beat Temple 45-14. We haven't talked about the fake punt on this show, at least. Ryan Roseborough with just there's nothing like a big man running with the football. There's a lot of great things in life. I'm not sure. I can think of a few things that might be better, but I can't really say them on radio. Otherwise, Ryan Roseborough running with the football was one of the highlights of my recent memory. What a play, man. And, we were talking, I think it was Chance Scott in the box. He's like, they're definitely faking this because it was 4th and 6. ECU punts it. They get the penalty for too many men on the field. They bring it back. It's 4th and 1. And I'm just like, yeah, but Temple knows it's coming. And it didn't even matter. Their coach said after the game they had the safe call on, and ECU just blocked it up so well. But what an electric play.
So first off, Ryan Roseboom, the reason he didn't score is because he was so gassed because he flew down the field as a big man and made a tackle on the original punt. Then, I'll be honest with you, when I heard there was a flag, it's like, okay, 4th and 1. This is probably 4-down territory. I think they're just going to go for it. And then when they ran the punt team back out there, I was thinking the same thing that you and Chance were thinking. So they're going to fake this, and sure enough, and Roseborough takes off, and I hear Jim getting all excited, and I'm like, oh my goodness, he might break this crap. And man, it was close.
What an electric play! As Johnny Robertson also points out the fact he made the tackle. By the way, a tackle on a good punt returner, not just some, stock punt returner. Their guy's legit. So great play, great athlete. He was happy after the game as well, so very happy for Ryan Roseborough. And the other thing that Blake mentioned that was huge after that, there was another, the offense, you remember at NC State, they faked the punt, and the offense kind of stalled out.
And there was another game recently we faked a punt and then didn't score on it.
I know Tulane, they got the onside kick, had to settle for the field goal.
I thought that's our third fake punt of the year.
They faked the field goal at Army. Or against Army.
And scored. Maybe that was only the second fake punt. I thought there was another one, though, recently that we...
There's just been so many special teams fakes, which is such a weird thing to say, that it's hard to keep track.
I thought there was one against Tulane.
I think it was just the onside kick. But either way, the offense stalled, remember? And they had to settle for field goal. Stalled at State, couldn't score. Yep. This one, they get down. It's another 4th down, and they went hard count, got the jump, and I think Anthony Smith caught the football.
Yeah.
So, massive sequence there. And again, Blake Harrell proving why he's the guy to me. Look, we love Blake Harrell as a person, and I don't think anybody is rooting for his success more than us because we know how genuine he is. Just a great dude. And he just fits Eastern North Carolina so well. And he fits ECU, the culture, the way you should play the game so well. And we'll get more into this today. He talked about, the Charlotte game, what this one means. So you can check that out in today's press conference. But I think it's just so refreshing. I was a little concerned when Blake got the job full-time, Phillip, that it was just going to be a lot. And it is a lot, I'm sure. But for him to continue to be the guy he is and not – he doesn't seem like a football coach. He just seems like – or a head football coach. He just seems like a guy who happens to be the coach of ECU football, but is just a regular dude, easy to talk to.
Well, it comes back to what we were talking about earlier where he was just first few minutes of practice while they're stretching, he's just hanging out on the sidelines talking to you. We're catching up about whatever. I was catching up with him Monday night. He was talking to me about his daughter's volleyball and flag football and all that, normal conversation, Not everything has to be about football all the time, and so that's part of it. And as far as he fits the mold of the people around here, as far as a personality, but he also fits the mold of East Carolina where you do have to be a little gutsy sometimes. And Kyler Pearson said it in his press conference today. And I don't know if this is something I can say on radio, but we're on stream.
We can cuss.
We're on stream.
Do
He
what we
goes,
want.
this is definitely the ballsiest coaching staff I've ever been on.
He even kind of like looked around when he said, "Am I supposed to say this?"
Obviously, we don't care, but and it's true, man. They are a gutsy coaching staff, so you kind of have to be that. It kind of goes back to the Steve Logan mindset where, in East Carolina, you're never going to have the nicest thing. Are you going to have the worst? Absolutely not. But you're never going to have what Alabama has. You're never going to have what Ohio State has. So you got to go out there sometimes and take things. You're not always going to be given things. And Blake knows that. And, he's worked his tail off as a human being, and he's worked his tail off as a football coach. And here we are now, and this team works their tails off.
All right, let's get into some comments, some questions from the chat. I'll start on Facebook. I always forget to give the Facebook commenters some love. So I'll start with Jay, who, by the way, I met trick-or-treating in my neighborhood. Good to meet you, Jay, in person. Appreciate your support of the program. He says, sure would like to see some packages with the big guy, Roseboro, lined up in the backfield on short yardage. Could see him as lead carrier or lead blocker, ball carrier, or fake to everyone, hit the wide-open tight end. So we know ECU goes jumbo, or they have at least the potential to. They did it last year with J.D. Lampley, Zion Wilson. Somebody asked about it today at the press conference. I think it was Brian Bailey. I think it's coming. I think it's definitely coming, and it's just a matter of does he get the ball or not. Jumbo package.
Look, I like Ryan. Nothing against Ryan. But he needs to be the lead blocker because JD deserves a touchdown before he graduates.
JD does.
He's had 2 that didn't count. We've got to get JD a touchdown.
And he was also wide open in the jumbo package last year on a play, and they threw Javante Connor the ball instead, and JD was complaining about it. So JD Lampley, he's been like close 4 times to scoring touchdowns now, and I'm with you. Put JD in it as the deep back and put Ryan and Zion Wilson as the lead blockers, and let's just do it. Don Vicker says, was there an effort to get Yannick Smith more targets this past Saturday? I think maybe a little bit, but I think really a lot of it comes down to what are the matchups. Temple had a starting corner out. They had a starting safety out, and I think it more just depended upon who was guarding him, and he was the beneficiary of that. So I think at times this offense just depends on what the hash is, where the receivers are, what the matchup is, who's getting open. Caton does get rid of the ball very fast, so a lot of it may be matchup dependent, trying to take advantage of that. But I'm with y'all. Somebody said earlier, I've been a big proponent of getting Yannick the ball as much as possible, and he's just a playmaker, man. So I'm all for it as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, this offense has a good problem, right? There's too many guys to get the ball to. We saw the tight ends have some solid catches last week too. But when you run the ball for 300 yards, look, your receivers might not get to eat quite like you want them to. So that's part of it. The good thing is there's a lot of faces, a lot of guys get the football too, and like you said, it's gonna be matchup dependent because your X and your Z don't necessarily run the same routes. They're a little bit different style in the way they do things. So it's going to come down to what is the other team's tendencies? Are they more susceptible to the type of routes that, the X is running or the Z is running? Are they more susceptible to the type of routes that your slot guy runs or your tight end or whatever? So, I think this thing is not as easy as it seems sometimes. And I know that maybe in the NFL it's a little more consistent, but also JSN is better than Yannick and Anthony Smith. And I just use him because he's leading the NFL in receiving yards.
I was about to say.
He's leading the NFL. I don't know.
He's
first.
a stud.
Yeah. So, you're like, well, Seattle gets the same guy the ball every week. Well,
he can also do it all.
He can do it all. And that's the thing. It's true number one guys in the NFL. They can run the entirety of the route tree. They can do it against different coverages. And that is why, I'm just being honest with you guys, wide receiver, the exception like quarterback, kicker, punter, where there's only one. Wide receiver is the toughest place to make it in the NFL because you can be a damn good college wide receiver. And there's just that many guys who are that much better than you in the NFL.
And the corners are just so good.
Yeah.
That you got to be able to do it all. All right, some more comments here. Corsair says, Ryan the Road Grader Roseboro.
I like it.
That. Fake punt was great. Kenny Curlin says, KC Keeler press conference owned it. He gave us the credit, said the Pirates dominated and played physical football. Yeah, I listened to all 14 minutes of his presser after the game on the way back, on the drive back from Philly. And he was like, look, man, they were the more physical, dominant team. They imposed their will on offense, defense, and special teams. So he did. He owned it and gave ECU a lot of credit. So, and talked about how good the Pirates were. Justice Bradburn says, shout out to John David Baker. Best game he has called all year. The running game continues to grow. I will say, and I'm not saying this for you, Justice, I was monitoring our game thread on Hoist the Colors. During the drive where ECU ran the football 11 consecutive times, there were fans complaining, saying that JDB gets complacent with the run or some sort of he sticks with the run too much. I mean, they scored a touchdown on the drive. They got positive yards every single play. So
yeah.
That's just fans, I guess, wanting to see the ball thrown.
Look, I understand fans wanting to see the ball. Throwing touchdowns sells tickets. But I was talking about this with a friend one time, and he brought up the good point of you only throw the ball if you feel like you can't run it on a specific play. And I'm not saying that every time you call a pass now you do that because you could be trying to catch them off guard. You got to have balance. But if you knew that you could run the ball for exactly 4 yards on every single play for the game, you wished upon a genie to have exactly 4 yards of play, you would never throw the ball because so many things can happen wrong. So if you're down there and you're just punching it down their throats and they're not stopping you, why the hell would you throw it?
And that was the drive where they had just tied it. And you were making a statement to me like, all right, that's cute. You tied it. We messed up. We fumbled. We're just now going to impose our will. Like, that changed the game. That changed the feeling of the game to me.
It did. Because it went from we're playing better than you to we are better than you. And it's one thing to play better because one team can play better for one quarter, another team can play better for the next quarter or the next drive or the next play. But when you're just saying we are better than you, it's over. And it was over after that.
It was. Statement for sure. Speaking of statements, John Decker Golf Instruction. We were talking about how nobody in the Midwest took notice of this. John Decker Golf Instruction says, I live in the Midwest and I took notice. Best one of the year so far. Well, John Decker, I'm going to guess if you're watching this, you're probably an ECU fan. I was just saying, like, random people in Ohio. Are they checking in on ECU Temple? Maybe if they're like a diehard football fan, but your average fan isn't.
No.
So he says, I believe that ECU is the best team in the American. The reason we have the best defense in the conference and defense wins championships. I mean, it's not a horrible take.
No.
I just want to see. I do think ECU is definitely up there. I just need to see more of Memphis. Memphis's defense is pretty good now.
It's gotten better. They had me worried at the beginning of the year. Their defense did. It wasn't that good.
South Florida's solid.
Yeah. I think I would say 1 to 53. What the hell is it now? How many scholarships are there?
There
185.
are 85. You can give up to 105, but most schools are still giving 85.
1 to 85. I still think South Florida's better than us, but I understand the point.
We both watched the South Florida Memphis game, not together, but we were texting about it, and just watching that game, it was like these, to me, like across the board, you can see the financial. Doesn't mean they're the better team, but I think talent-wise, they have more talent than the rest of the league. Those two teams, you could just see it. So, again, Pirates miss out on USF in the regular season. They get Memphis at home, so we'll see what happens there. Kenny Curlin says, not bragging, but I did predict Pirates 44, Temple 17. Well done, Kenny.
You did. And I think I can't remember if I owe Kenny an apology. I think I do.
I think we both kind of.
I think we did. We kind of. I'll just do it, Kenny. I'm sorry. Because I went out there and said it was going to be a tight game and shootout. I didn't say you were crazy, but I said that you were being over-optimistic or something like that. And so, yeah.
Kenny Curlin.
Kenny's going to take our job. That's going to be the problem. Igo and I are going to be broke and poor.
He is a ball knower.
He is.
And he had a great weekend because the Cowboys haven't lost yet. Now, that may come
Not yet.
tonight.
Not yet.
Our intern Isaiah's like, come on, man.
Where is Isaiah?
I don't know where he went.
He must be doing Inside Pirate Athletics with Dom. 'Cause I have not seen that guy in like 15 minutes.
Random basketball note. This is fun. I don't have to worry about taking a break. I, just
I know
got a
this is
text.
kind of I like this.
Man, we can beat the Bonnies. These dudes are terrible. So I guess St. Bonaventure's playing right now.
Yeah, it took me a while to get it up. So I found out, Igo, and let's just, I don't care, because we're not as pushed for time. You know how you struggle to see our YouTube stream, our live stream? I thought it was something to do because you're live streaming it out of that building. No, it's something to do with just like for some reason on our Wi-Fi, we can't watch live videos. I had to like turn on a VPN to get the YouTube, and it's YouTube. It's free. It's not like I'm illegally streaming anything here. But yeah, I've been kind of half watching. But the Bonnies are playing. I don't know, it's on a commercial right now. Who are they playing? Bradley. Yeah, the
Bradley's
Bulldogs
usually decent
of Bradley.
in
Yeah,
basketball.
they're usually decent. They win their conference every other year, roughly.
Kenny Curlin's also added that number 15, Jordy Lowry, played his butt off. Best game of the season for him.
Yes.
We had also talked about that, I think, heading into that game. And I'm not a big proponent of, like, calling out college football players. But, like, I think the Jordy Lowry thing had been a disappointment, relatively speaking, from the standpoint of he was one of your more high-profile transfers in a pretty solid transfer class. But you didn't have many, like, all right, this guy's going to make an impact. He was an FCS All-American at Western Carolina. He had like 5 or 6 picks last year. And when they signed him, I'm like, this guy has a chance to come in, start, play. And it just hadn't materialized. And then I think the thing that helped him was they played a lot of press coverage at times. And that was another thing I wanted to bring up earlier. Blake Carroll mentioned at the press conference. Basically, it sounded like they wanted to take away the easy access throws from Evan Simon and make him hand the ball off. And what did surprise me is that they never really took a shot deep. And so if they're unwilling to take a shot deep, keep on doing it.
Yeah.
And Lowry looked comfortable because he could just get out there and play. And he jumped like 2 or 3 routes. Should have had at least 1 or 2 picks. But that's a big development for me because I was starting to get very worried about cornerback. And if he steps up he doesn't have to be that good every week, but just a consistent presence, I think your defense being at the top of the conference is a more legit conversation.
Especially Rashid out. Like, we don't know when Rashid's coming back. That's the more of a thing with this. And I'm with you, Steven. You know, it kind of felt like they did a really good job in the portal with corners, just being like, look, we're just going to take a lot of dudes and hope that like 3 or 4 pan out. And it seems like Rashid panned out as a starter, and then everybody else panned out as a guy that you're not like scared to put out there, but you're not confident in either kind of thing. Like, they've been so. And like you said, you know, Jordy was kind of one of the guys that we maybe had the most confidence in coming in. And I don't know, man. You know, he's a little undersized. I don't know if that's got a little bit to do with it, but either way, in a game where the team played the toughest schematically game as far as it is for a corner to play, being a lot of press man, that's the toughest coverage to play as a corner. And he went out there and played it as successful as he did.
Couple comments from Corsair. He says, hopefully the Pirates football program has turned the corner and is living up to the preseason expectation or preseason potential predictions. And he also adds the main thing the Temple game showed you, when you run the ball, it really opens up your passing game. So I think ECU's about right on schedule as far as the preseason potential that we thought. It's just, I don't know if we thought the defense would be this good. And that was something that really surprised us, and now that the offense is matching that, you can see the ceiling of this team. Tim P says you can't hear Schwartz in the press conference. Tim, let us know which press conference you're talking about. I mean, I know which press conference, but are you talking about the 94.3? Because the audio is working there. Let us know what channel you're talking about, and we'll try to figure that out. JHP Direct says, in general, what are we hearing on the recruiting front? I mean, we're hearing a lot on the recruiting front. I'll say I think there's going to be over 200 prospects at this game Saturday against Charlotte. You're going to have, I think, a handful of official visits. There's some flip candidates in play that ECU's trying to flip. There's also some teams that are trying to recruit a couple ECU players. So we cover recruiting a lot on hoistthecolors.net for our VIP subscribers, so keep it locked there. But as we get closer to signing day, and it's really only a month away, we'll have some more Nuggets news and notes. But the next 2 weeks, your final 2 home games of the year are very important recruiting dates, specifically for incoming JUCO players, which ECU has done a lot of. Offensive front, secondary parts are looking to upgrade at both those spots going forward with this class. But the high school class I feel pretty good about right now. Kenny Curling says, only complaint on the game was the announcer calling us Eastern Carolina and the cameraman showing the wrong coach as JDB over and over. So, yeah, Matt Maddox is now the offensive coordinator. He's the offensive line coach. And I obviously did not watch the broadcast. Well, I should restate that. I watched it, but I had the audio down. I did see Matt Maddox pop up multiple times as I had the replay going to see kind of the plays develop. But I don't know. What was the deal? I guess you were doing radio too.
Yeah, I was doing radio too. But so what happened though? At least I'm paying a little more attention to the TV broadcast than you are. It's my only way to see it. The first time they put the graphic up that said John David Baker, and they showed Coach Maddox. Then, like the next possession, they actually showed JDB standing on the sidelines, but I didn't have the volume on because I was listening to Jim and Andrew, obviously. So I was like, oh, maybe they realized they made a mistake. Like, okay, they're showing JDB this time. And then they showed Maddox like 3 more times and then showed JDB the rest of the game. And there was like one where a timeout was called at like a crucial point in the game. And JDB's like in the middle of the huddle talking to all these guys, and Maddox is just having like a one-on-one conversation on the side with one of the offensive linemen, and they're still just like zooming in on Matt Maddox. And it's like, yeah, because the OC is just chilling with one dude, and there's this other random coach that just happens to be actually telling the offense what to do. Yeah. I mean, if you can't figure it out then, that's the problem I think sometimes that like with some of these like the TV producers and camera people is like they're probably more into the tech side of things than they are the sports side of things. So I don't think they like you and I would put 2 and 2 together. Right. The OC standing there talking to the quarterback, but they don't think about that stuff because they're not really sports fans.
Yeah, I will say, like, if you're like Maddox and JDB, they both have a beard, and they both kind of, Maddox is bigger, but like if you just look at their profile picture, which is probably what they did, and like they're trying to find this guy on the sidelines, I could maybe see the confusion. But like, you just got to know ball at the end of the day. If you're going to do a Division I football broadcast, if it was FCS or Division II, I'd maybe give it more leniency. But if you're going to do a major broadcast and you can't figure out who the OC is and you can't get the damn name, I mean, I could drop the F-bomb if I wanted to, but I'm not going to for professional reasons. If you can't get the name of the team that you're calling the game about right, get the hell out of my press box. Get out of the stadium. You don't deserve to be in the booth ever again. How can you be calling a Division I game and not know the team name of the team that's playing? Freaking ridiculous, man. Fire him on the spot. Disgusting.
I agree with you, and it should be this way if it's any Division I school. Well, really, any school, you should do your research. But, like, East Carolina's not new to D1. First off, we're one of the most premier college basketball programs in the country, consistency-wise.
College basketball?
Or baseball, sorry. I'm watching basketball. I got the B part right.
We might have to fire you on
yeah, I know, right? I'm gone. Phil's gone. Tom got promoted. But, like, this team's won bowl games. This team beat Boise State in a bowl game in the heyday of Boise State. If you didn't see State in the Peach Bowl, like,
finished the year 9th nationally in 1992.
Yeah, like we're not Tarleton State who just jumped up to D1, 2 years ago, and it's still FCS. Like, it's just funny, man. It's like, I don't know. Remember when ESPN had the graphic up that time, and it was like showing the weather for the game, and it said in Greenview, North Carolina.
Yeah, sad, man. I just don't get it. It's just sad. But there's a lot of people out there today, and there's a lot of great people in college sports media. There's also a lot of people that would do a great job in college sports media that don't get opportunities. And there's a lot of people that just are lazy and don't do a great job, yet still have jobs. So
I was thinking about this the other day, Steven. So most directions, it is the ERN at the end, Western Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Western Carolina. But South Alabama is South Alabama. Does anybody ever screw it up and say Southern Alabama?
I'm going to guess no.
I've never heard an announcer botch it.
It probably has happened, but not a lot. And I guess maybe it's just because, like, Eastern Michigan.
But it's East Tennessee State.
Yeah, that's true, too. Are people saying Eastern Tennessee State?
I bet so. Somebody's probably. We never know because they're FCS. We don't watch their stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, when we see them in college basketball, it's the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Jim Nance is not going to screw something like that up.
So hopefully next time ECU plays at Temple, they have a new color guy, because that was ridiculous to me. Did the play-by-play guy call him Eastern too?
I don't know. I was listening to Jim and Andrew. They did not screw.
They did not say Eastern. I'm going to guess. All right, some more comments here, and we'll go until I finish these. Not too long past 1, but probably a couple minutes over. So Philip can have some lunch. Have you had lunch?
I'm getting hungry.
Yeah.
I'm getting hungry.
A lot of comments about that drive, the 11 straight runs. Dennis says definitely a statement drive. Hope we see that many times this week. Kenny says passionate. We also have a comment about J.J. McCarthy from Dominic Kasulki. Dom, do your job. Do your job, buddy.
Is Dom watching this right
He's
now?
watching this stream while producing Inside Pirate Athletics.
Well, if there's a mess up, we know why.
Yeah. Logan says, never heard anyone say Northern Texas. That's a good take.
Yeah.
The Josh Jackson, good shout out here before we move on from this. He says the B-roll shots for the Tulsa game were from Greenville, South Carolina. That's from a game on ESPN. Like,
they showed like downtown shots of Greenville, South Carolina.
Yep. Like the bridge in Greenville, South Carolina.
I didn't know that because we were doing the pregame show and then went in.
Terrible.
Okay, look, you know what? We're not on radio, so I'm just going to say it. ESPN hires some dumbasses. Not everybody that works there, but some of them. Get better, Mickey Mouse. I bet Walt Disney's rolling over in his grave with this crap. I mean, how do you show the wrong damn city?
It's a joke, man. Hey, maybe they showed Greenview instead. I don't know.
Oh, my gosh.
Because that's what their app says. Dom says, I've never messed up. Damn it, Dom.
Damn it, Dom.
I don't believe that. Is there an outcome this season that would justify an extension for Blake? 10 wins, conference championship is what Joel Hancock wants to know. Glad you asked that, Joel. There's an outcome that gets Blake Harrell an automatic 1-year contract extension, and that's written into his deal. If he makes a bowl game following the conclusion of the 2025, 2026, or 2027 seasons, he gets an automatic 1-year extension. Now, I believe this is just a one-time thing. So basically, if ECU wins on Saturday, he will get an automatic extension. And I don't think anybody will complain about that. I mean, he signed a 4-year deal, I believe, that was fairly cheap by head coaching standards. And I think, ECU was taking a risk by doing the interim bump thing in some regards. So I think this is fair. Automatic extension. Hey, you prove you can do this over a full course of a season. I think he deserves it.
I think it's fair. I think if anybody's going to be ticked off about it, it's going to be Blake Harrell because he's not going to get a pay raise with that 1-year extension. It's just going to be, he'll get the same, he'll get whatever money he's making that year. But yeah, so I think the only person to be mad can be Blake.
And depending on how the season goes, I think you can make an argument for a raise. Although again, with coaching salaries maybe being lowered a bit, due to the player revenue,
you got to pay the players.
Yeah, it's tough. John Decker, golf instructor, says, I'm a graduate from 1990 in Bleed Purple. My Ohio students text me all the time when we win, especially with the Savages' success. I'm doing my best to spread the word. Well, appreciate you, John Decker, golf instruction, for what you're doing for ECU and for tuning in. So one more thing before we get out of here, as we're running short on time. Tim P says, let it fly, Pilk, rant for us. He did say, by the way, he said the audio is a little low on Schwartz's 94.3, but
I think there's just so much damn stuff going on in the
they've got
gym.
the team practicing behind them.
Yeah, I put the microphone on Coach, but yeah, I'm sorry.
We'll try to crank up the audio there going forward, but Travion LeBeau injured. We'll get more into that tomorrow with Darren Vaught. We'll see how long he's out. Not good for the Pirates. All right, the other thing I just want to mention, we'll get more into Charlotte, more in the conference title race, but I thought today, not a ton of questions at the press conference. I guess when you win 45-14, it's like there's only so much to ask, but I did ask about Charlotte. because I know it's all about ECU, all about us. But this week feels personal, and you can kind of see Blake Harrell's demeanor change when he was asked about Charlotte. The only thing that concerns me about this game is I think ECU is going to want to beat them so bad that I worry about them like trying to do too much. But I don't know, man. It would not shock me if they hang 60 plus on Saturday. It just depends on like how the game starts, and maybe it turns into a dogfight. You never know in college athletics, but I think the guys are going to be super amped for this game, and maybe you wouldn't feel that way if it wasn't Charlotte, given how poorly they've been at this point. But this one feels personal to me.
I think I wouldn't feel this way if we even split with them over the last 2 years. I'd be like, hey, man, a little bit of a trap game. You know, they're 0-7 or 0-8 now against FBS opponents. Their only win is a 7-point win over Monmouth. Was it 42-35, I think. So that would have me a little worried, but I think just the fact that we know we're 0-2 against them all time, like most of these dudes were on the team the last 2 years, or at least last year. Like, yeah, no, I feel good. Pirates by whatever the hell the spread is. I'm taking the Pirates.
Yeah, a lot of concern about ECU minus 28, minus 29. I feel, and again, Charlotte's coming out of a bye. Maybe they hit some plays early. They scheme some things up.
They were beating North Texas by 3 midway through the quarter and still didn't lose by less than 28 or 29.
So I'm taking ECU in the points, whatever it is. I feel pretty comfortable with that. I just think if ECU just settles in to play their game, they're not going to be able to stop them, and vice versa. So we'll see. We'll get more into that throughout the week, and be on the lookout for new helmets. Who's ready to see the Peach Bowl era helmets again?
Let's do it.
I'm ready, and I think that's on the way for this weekend, although nothing official yet. I've seen some things, and we'll get more into that. All right, let's wrap it up. Fun hour and some change here on this Monday. If you missed any of the show, check it out, podcast form. Make sure to check out Inside Pirate Athletics as well. Download the IBX Media app for that. And you can check out the full show. Blake Harrell, Kyler Pearson, Josiah Robinson, and Patrick Johnson from Tiebreakers. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow at 12 noon. We'll have Darren Vaught, ECU play-by-play voice for basketball for the whole hour. We'll talk a little bit of everything, including the season opener. See you then. Thanks for listening.